So a lot of people have asked us why at Cirame we've pretty much moved 100% to the Stelvin or the screw cap. You can see one of our older wines here, 2003 Chardonnay. We did bottle under cork for our premium wines early on. Obviously we're still using cork for our sparkling wine. We've kept the traditional route there. But the main reason is that there's a couple of things that happened in Australia in particular, I think. I don't think we got very good cork, very high quality cork. And so we had a lot of issues with what we call random oxidation. So in general, cork is a natural product. It has a lot of natural variation in how dense it is and how much air it may let in, how good a seal it forms. And if you get very high quality cork, it is an excellent seal for wine. But if you have a lot of variability in the cork, it can be a little bit more difficult. And I think it was about 2003, 2004, we did have some issues on some of our lower, next level down wines, and particularly the whites with cork. We just had lots of random oxidation. So we found the wines were aging all over the place. So some of them were fine, some of them were aging really quickly, and it was just really difficult for us to know when we're opening a wine for a guest, is this going to be one of the ones that's really good, or is this going to be one of the ones where the cork has had an issue? So that random oxidation is a little bit different from what we call cork taint. So cork taint is an unfortunate thing that happens with an organism that lives in the cork and causes a sort of musty, mouldy smell. That is quite rare, and that wasn't the particular issue we had. The issue we had was with oxidation. So we looked into the Stelvin caps. So the Stelvin cap is a very perfect sort of seal. They have come a long way. I think they do allow wine to age perhaps more naturally than when we first started using them, when they first started being used. They have a very good liner now that does allow a little bit of, keeps a little bit of oxygen in the cap for a little while and just allows the wine to have a little bit of oxygen early on. But I think the main thing with Stelvin is that whatever happens to the wine under a Stelvin or a screw cap happens very consistently to all of the wine that was bottled at once. Whereas what we found with the cork was there was just more variation than we really wanted to see. We do have to change things in the winery a little bit if we know that the wine is going to go under screw cap, because the screw cap lets in less air than a cork does. So it's going to change the way it ages in the bottle. So what we do in the winery is we don't starve the wine too much of air through its journey in the winery. We allow, by the use of oak, particularly, we allow the wine to absorb some oxygen and to make sure that it's not going to sort of develop any negative flavours being under a screw cap and not having oxygen through its aging period. So it definitely changes what we do in the winery. And often what we do when we know we're going to age a wine for a long time under a screw cap is even a little bit different again. So, and that can be the reason why sometimes they look very closed when they're very young. But with a wine like this that we knew was going to have aging before we released it, I'm very, very pleased with the way this screw cap has behaved. And the most important thing to me is that we've just opened a bottle and it looks like this and it smells wonderful and it tastes wonderful. With a screw cap, that's going to be extremely consistent across every bottle of wine in that bottling. So I can be confident and proud of this wine that every bottle that goes to a customer is going to look like this. Probably the only thing you need to be careful with, I think now, is storage conditions. So that's really the only variation. So obviously this wine, we've stored it very carefully here. Now we know that people that buy this wine, whether it's restaurants or whether it's wine connoisseurs, they're also going to be very careful how they store it. And it's going to continue to evolve in that really positive way and just very consistently with that screw cap. So in Australia we've really embraced it. I know it's not quite the same in other parts of the world, but I hope that people will understand the reasoning behind why we do it.